When a smile was enough. On a quiet morning in a small town, the sky was gray and the streets felt unusually silent. People walked quickly with their heads down, rushing through their busy lives. No one seemed to notice the little things around them. Except for Maya. Maya was a young girl who believed something simple could change a day, a smile. Every morning on her way to school, Maya passed the same people. There was the tired bus driver, the old man feeding birds in the park, the shopkeeper arranging fruits, and a woman who always looked worried while waiting at the bus stop. Most people walked past them without a word. But Maya had a small habit. She smiled. Not a big dramatic smile, just a warm, gentle one. At first, no one reacted. The bus driver barely noticed. The old man kept feeding the birds. The shopkeeper focused on his fruit stand. But Maya kept smiling every day. One rainy morning, the bus driver finally smiled back. It was small and quick, but it was there. The next day, the old man feeding birds nodded and said, "Good morning." A few days later, the worried woman at the bus stop smiled back too. Slowly, something began to change in the town. The shopkeeper started greeting customers more warmly. The bus driver began wishing children a good day. The woman at the bus stop started helping others carry heavy bags. One afternoon, Maya saw something surprising. Two strangers were laughing together while sharing an umbrella. She realized something important. Her smile hadn't solved big problems. It didn't change the weather or make people rich. But it reminded people that kindness still existed. And sometimes, that was all someone needed. Sometimes, when the world feels heavy and people feel invisible, a simple smile is enough. Few weeks passed, and Maya's small habit of smiling had quietly become part of her daily routine. She didn't think much about it. To her, it was just something kind to do. But the town had started to notice. One chilly morning, as Maya walked toward school, she saw the old man in the park again. Usually he sat alone on the wooden bench feeding birds, but today something was different. A little boy stood beside him, laughing as pigeons fluttered around their feet. When the old man noticed Maya, he waved. "Good morning, Maya," he called warmly. Maya stopped, surprised. "Good morning." The old man smiled. "You know, you're the reason this bench isn't lonely anymore." Maya tilted her head. "What do you mean?" "Well," the old man said, scattering a few more crumbs for the birds, "people used to walk past me without noticing. But after you started smiling and saying hello, others began doing it too. Now people stop and talk." Just then, the shopkeeper from the fruit stand walked through the park carrying a basket of oranges. "Maya," he said happily, "your smile worked again." Maya blinked. "My smile?" He nodded. "Yesterday a customer looked very upset. I remembered how you always smile, so I greeted her kindly. She stayed for a while and told me about her bad day. By the time she left, she was smiling too." Maya felt a warm feeling in her chest. She had never realized something so small could travel so far. Later that afternoon, on her way home, she noticed the woman from the bus stop helping an elderly lady cross the street. When the woman saw Maya, she waved excitedly. "You know," she said, "I used to feel invisible standing here every day. But when you smiled at me, it reminded me that someone noticed." Maya thought quietly about their words as she walked home. The town looked the same as always, the same streets, the same shops, the same park. But somehow it felt different. People were talking more, helping more, smiling more, and Maya began to realize something surprising. Kindness spreads quietly, not like loud thunder or flashing lights, but like sunlight slowly warming a cold morning. All it needed was someone to start. As the weeks turned into months, the little town continued to change in ways Maya never expected. What began as a simple smile during her walk to school had slowly grown into something much bigger. But Maya still didn't think she had done anything special. One afternoon, her teacher gave the class a small assignment. "Tomorrow," the teacher said, writing on the board, "I want everyone to talk about something kind they have seen in our town recently." The classroom buzzed with curiosity. Some students whispered to each other, trying to think of ideas. Maya quietly wondered what people would say. The next day, one by one, students stood up to share their stories. A boy named Hamza raised his hand first. I saw the bus driver wait for a student who was running late, he said. He didn't drive away like usual. Another student said, my mother told me the fruit seller gave extra apples to someone who couldn't pay. A girl near the window added, yesterday, 2 strangers helped a man fix his broken bicycle. The teacher smiled proudly as the stories continued. Finally, the teacher said, does anyone know why our town seems a little kinder lately? For a moment, the room was quiet. Then the old janitor who worked at the school doorway spoke softly. It started with a smile. Everyone turned to look at him. He continued, every morning I see Maya walking to school. She smiles at everyone, students, teachers, even people she doesn't know. At first it was just her. But after a while, others began doing it too. The classroom grew silent. Maya felt her cheeks turn red. She hadn't realized people had noticed. Her teacher looked at her gently. Maya, she said, do you know what you did? Maya shook her head slowly. You reminded people how powerful kindness can be, the teacher said. Sometimes people forget. All they need is a small reminder. That afternoon, when school ended, Maya walked home like she always did. But something felt different. The bus driver waved at her. The shopkeeper greeted her warmly. The old man in the park tipped his hat. Even strangers passing by were smiling at each other. Maya stopped for a moment in the middle of the sidewalk and looked around. The town was still the same small place it had always been. But the people inside it had changed. Not because of a big event. Not because of a speech. Not because someone told them to. It happened because one small act of kindness traveled from one person to another, and then another, and another. Maya smiled again as she continued walking. Because she understood something now. Sometimes people think kindness needs grand gestures or big actions. But the truth is much